Hello dear friends, welcome from the sunny city of Belgrade. As you can see, here we have Indian summer. It's warm, although I'm wearing a coat. Today our topic is managing your energy. This topic is something that our friend Sonia suggested. Big hug to you. Sonia spent time in Sweden and Belgrade working in political science and fashion industry, a good mix. So she told me, Milena, you should create a video about managing energy because I and so many of my friends feel exhausted after a long day at work, but we still want to do something useful. So how do we do that? Let's first clarify that managing your energy is different than managing your time and managing your team, managing your resources, your funds, or managing something else. Why is it different? Well, if you remember laws of physics, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, and it is something that all of us have in abundance. However, energy needs to be recharged regularly. And when we are fully immersed into some experience, let's say we are reading something, we are creating prototype, or we are negotiating, or we are talking to our friends, we get to figure out that time passes by and we actually stop noticing that we are hungry, thirsty, we need to take some rest, or we need to refill our energy. I am very happy that these days I am attending a course by Peter Diamandis, a fantastic man who is mentor to our generation of entrepreneurs, along with Elon Musk and Peter Thiel in X Prize competition. A man who revolutionized in his startups and which became mature companies how longevity functions, how biotechnology functions, how rocket space, rocket industry works. And he also created Singularity University, a hub for mostly millennial entrepreneurs that want to create massive impact and want to bring value to billion people. And I'm mentioning Peter because he explained in one of his videos 4 fundamental factors that you should pay attention to when it comes to your mindset. And I strongly believe that the reason why sometimes we feel depleted and with a lack of energy is because of our mindset. First of all, you have to pay attention to people who surround you. Unfortunately, it is hard for us to admit, sorry for this, but some of the people that are close to us are energy vampires. And it is hard for us to say to those people that they don't actually deserve so much space and so much attention from us, because some of them maybe are close relatives, we live with some of them, there are roommates, family members, etc. So Peter Diamandis, of course, from working with Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and many other amazing entrepreneurs, he learned that himself, and he encourages especially young people who are starting their careers to become aware of who they spend most time with, and to create their peer groups where they will have mentorship support and peer mentorship support, and where they will encourage each other. And actually, with some people, you probably have noticed that you feel on top of the world, that you feel energized and everything works. With some people, no matter what you suggest, nothing seems to function. So that's the first thing we should pay attention to. The second thing is our environment, in the sense of, let's say, work environment or home, and how the place we spend our time looks like, not in the sense of aesthetics, but in the sense of energy. If my place is cramped with papers, if it takes an eternity for me to find something that is important, and if I feel exhausted when I'm at my workplace, it becomes very energy draining to operate in such environment and to create value. So all of you should pay attention to the roles you have in your environment. Some of you are creators, some of you are operations people, some of you are lobbyists or evangelists, some of you are coordinators, some of you are behind the scenes, okay, doing some kind of operations, but maybe more in a logistics side. Or maybe your development, yeah? So all of this will be important to you to understand, because if you're switching between several roles, maybe you will need to change environment, and maybe your energy will need to get refilled from exposure in creative environment. I have realized that when I work, I need absolute silence, and I have realized that getting up very early and doing some reading and doing some journaling first thing in the morning without checking my push notifications, without checking social media, does wonders for me, because I feel on top of the world, and I feel proud of myself, and I feel compelled to create massive value for my team, for my clients, for my family, for my friends. And in return, I receive abundance as well. The third factor that Peter Thiel, I need to remind myself, Peter Diamandis mentions, is the news you watch as a terrible, if it's negative news, as a terrible resource that may deplete your energy if you are not careful. I can tell you that I am on media diet for a decade, in the sense that I don't own TV. Of course, I love videos. I have my video channel. I used to grow up watching music, as I am a kid from the 80s who loved MTV, and I still pay attention to aesthetics of videos and how the storyline in music videos is designed when I have time. And I'm not one of those people who think the music is getting worse as we grow old. It just evolves. It just follows the trends in technology, in society. And I believe that when you closely and in a smart way follow news, you get to understand that so many bad things happen because they are newsworthy. So many bad things that happened are portrayed, are given space in media because they are newsworthy, they grab attention. But if we actually train ourselves to get surrounded by positive news, breakthroughs, who sold the company, who made some scientific discovery, who created incredible transformation in the community, if we follow those pieces of information, those kinds of news, we will become very rich in the sense of training our mindset and training our energy to get refilled when we need some kind of encouragement, and having at the back of our mind that there are things we cannot influence. And very often when I used to listen to bad news, I had the feeling of being helpless and hopeless, because as if my hands are tied, as if I cannot do anything. And this kind of learned helplessness is something that gets instilled in people as we stimulate them as we expose them to stimuli where they receive piece of information, but they cannot do anything about it. They cannot do anything about changing their reality. So that's why I believe that negative news is incredibly exhausting, and it is very detrimental, has very negative effect on your energy level. And the fourth factor that Peter Diamandis mentioned, and I really want to agree with, is your purpose. If you work focused on your purpose, you will become, and now that I mentioned purpose, you can see that the horizon behind me really brightened up, which is a good metaphor. When you are in tune with your purpose, you find the time and you find the energy to push through difficulty and to push through difficult times. I developed mindset. I think it has to do with genetics. As I like to joke with my Serbian friends, we belong to war tribes. So we developed warrior mentality in order to survive, in order to thrive, because we had so many issues throughout history where it was about defending and it was about protecting your shelter. So you have this kind of resilience, that kind of innate, as we call it, a bit of rebellious spirit and a bit of determination to take destiny in your hands. So I was very lucky to have that as part of my upbringing. But at the same time, I learned so much because people who shaped me as mentors, books I read, entertainment I consumed, conferences I attended, of course, universities I went to, people I met in all those thousands of encounters, all those people shaped who I am today. And I learned that my purpose is to bring value by motivating, especially young generation, to find their key capabilities and to leverage on them, and to develop mindset that puts them in a position to succeed, so that they can really do what they are meant to do. Because I believe that so many people end up doing jobs they don't like, and they are constantly energy depleted, they constantly lack energy because they do something that somebody told them to do. Or, it is well paid, it is something they should do, it is something that their parents did, or it's even a longer family tradition, and people end up being exhausted all the time. Right now, I feel as a high achiever a bit guilty, because whatever I do, it doesn't feel that I'm working. And although I am awake and I'm operational for 16 hours, at least during the day, and I'm constantly making decisions, and I need to react quick, because that's the industry I work on, IT industry and education, using digital tools and using conference format for educating young people. So this requires fast reaction. And despite all of this, I feel as if I am in the mode of playing and in the mode of creating. And this is how I manage my energy mostly. What I would also like to draw your attention to is that your feelings and your emotions are one of the best indicators if you are energy depleted or not. If you feel that after breathing in, breathing out 10 times, you will feel better, or if you get a glass of water, we forget the importance of those smart breaks. If you feel that will help you, you will really be able to last longer, as they like to say. And this is not something that you, especially men, should have in encountering, in those special love encounters, right? You want to last long in life. You want to last like a marathon runner, and you want to be somebody who is proud of your achievements. And if you're constantly in havoc, constantly, crazy, running like headless chicken, it's not gonna happen. So you need to set yourself, you need to position yourself in the condition so that you can win. Another thing that I want to draw your attention to is that when it comes to energy levels, I realized that that's the way I function. Maybe for somebody it won't be that good. I like to commit on paper, and I like to be true to myself. I was very lucky to realize early that they don't need supervision. If I work in a company where there are 3 lines of management, I would be probably a terrible employee, because I will constantly propose suggestions how to improve things. Of course, I will deliver, I will make things happen, but I will listen to my colleagues, superior and more experienced ones. But I am the one who has capability of working with little supervision, because I have that in myself. And I am able to track my progress, no matter if I do it in the gym or if I do it in my career, in working with my team, or when I am in a sales position, or if I'm writing content that should deliver value. So in all those different roles, I've developed a system, my inner compass, my North Star, as some authors like to say. And in that way, I am capable of figuring out if I'm doing something well, or if I'm doing something right or not. When I realize that tomorrow in the afternoon, I will go and do my training. The other day I had that situation because I was ill. That's why we had last week only one video. It's gonna happen. It is in my agenda, and it's gonna happen because this is my priority. This is my health priority. I realized that kind of activity brings energy back to me. It never happened to me that I exercised and I felt bad afterwards. The same thing goes with food that nourishes me. And the same thing goes with relationships that matter to me, with people who lift me up, with meeting my team. It's, it's from community and family that we had this, we get energy to get us going. So I believe, to sum up, one of the best ways to manage your energy is to follow your inner compass, listen to your body if there is some tension in some of the organs, in some of the parts of the body, and trying to actually work with that, trying to remove that pain, and actually before removing it, trying to figure out why is it happening to you. Are you working under pressure too much? Are you constantly over-promising to yourself and to others? And when you do that, when you realize that, everything comes into your place. Pay attention to your environment, pay attention to people who surround you, the mindset you have, how you think, how you operate, how you work. Everything matters. And be honest with yourself. If you constantly delay something, if you constantly procrastinate, if you say, I'm going to do something, but actually you never do it, maybe it will happen that you cannot complete it for real, like for obvious reasons during the workday, but there's weekends. You don't have to, be lazy and not doing something. You can accomplish on weekends what you wanted to do during the workday, but you couldn't. But if you constantly delude yourself and procrastinate, then actually it doesn't matter to you. So energy is like love. The more you have it, the more you spend it, the more you get it. Never be stingy with energy, as you never want to be stingy with love. This is one of the, let's say, matters, substances in our lives that amplifies and adds on as we get involved more. Thank you, and I'll catch you in one of our next videos. Cheers.